You know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating when I hear people say that they're too old to find a new job or start a new career. That's what frustrates me. And I started thinking about in this holiday season some of the amazing, successful people who are household names, many of them, that we just don't think about, who started at age 50 and 60 years old. Think about Grandma Moses, who didn't paint her first painting until she was 76 years old. Colonel Sanders, who didn't start until he was 65 to really create the Kentucky Fried Chicken chain. The Zagat family, the people who rank them, they started in their early 50s to create that rating system that many of us follow when we look for a restaurant. Lesser known people like Tikachoro Mori, who was an economics professor until he retired and at age 55 got into real estate. And when he died, he was worth $13 billion. When you are 58 years old, you could have 30, 40, 50 years left of work career. In fact, you could probably have more years in front of you than behind you. Think about what you did in the previous 30 years of your life. How many jobs you had, how many careers you may have had, different careers. I myself have had 4 distinct careers in that period of time. Why not do it now? What is stopping you? What are handcuffing you that stops you from doing that? Is it all the reasons we hear typically all the time? Fear, family, not willing to make a change, wanting to spend more time relaxing. Well, that's not going to serve you well if that's the kind of life you want to live. That's not going to get you the things that you want in life. That's not going to, for most people, even fulfill just a purpose in life. Playing golf for most people is not something that they're going to do every day. I mean, I love going scuba diving and snorkeling. I happen to live in Southern California, so I can go snorkeling at least for 5 or 6 months out of the year. And the way global warming is right now, I may be able to go to 9 or 10 months out of the year, unfortunately. But that's not what I do every day. I do something that I want to do. And you can do it too. What does that mean? That means you have to constantly learn. I'm sitting here right now with a variety of books. Some like Seth Godin's book. Let's get that over there. All Marketeers Are Liars Tell Stories, which is an interesting short reading. Some funny books. This one actually I got this weekend, which is You Know You're 50 When by Richard Smith. And if you want to laugh a little bit. But it's funny. It's not supposed to be something that you're going to live your life by. For example, he goes, the first man, you know you're 50 when the first man you slept with is now collecting Social Security. It's kind of a funny thought, but you shouldn't make that an impediment for you to be successful. The things that I read to make myself successful are things like Paul Sokol's new book, which is the Infusion Soft Cookbook. Kind of boring for a lot of people, but if you're interested in marketing automation and CRM, you read that kind of stuff. It doesn't mean you have to read the same books I read. Your interests are different. Your career path is different. But just because you're 55 or 58 or 65 years old doesn't mean you can't learn new things. You know, I was looking at a list of social media tools. And if I was to tell you that this list had 500 social media tools that are available today, your brain would explode. Doesn't mean you should go out tomorrow and go search 500 social media tools and learn them all. But the excuse to say, I can't learn, or I don't want to have Facebook, or I don't want to have Instagram, or I don't want to learn how to use it as a tool so that I can perform better in my job or perhaps find a new career is unacceptable. Would you have done that when you were 20 and 25 years old? I don't understand it. You have the depth of skill and knowledge unconsciously that most younger people won't have for another 20 years. You can't read that in a textbook. You can't get that in college. You can't get to where you want to go without that kind of depth and experience. Yes, there are examples of entrepreneurs who are 15 and 18 and 25 years old who've made their first $1 billion. But you can count those on your hands and your feet. That's it. The rest of the people work, and the rest of the people are learning. My sons who are 28 years old, they're learning how to be better in business. They're learning what you already know unconsciously. They're learning how to interact with other people at work. They're learning new skills. You've already spent 30 years learning some of those base core skills that you now unconsciously use every day. But what a lot of people don't do, who are over 40 and 50, is want to take in the new technology. They draw a line in the sand. They say, you know what? I'm okay. I know it already. I know how to use PC and Excel spreadsheet, and that's enough for me. I know how to, look at Facebook. I know how to, use a PC, even though everybody in my business now are using Macs. Doesn't make sense. Why do you limit yourself in such a world? Would you want your children? If you're giving your children advice, would you tell them to limit themselves in that way? It's insane. I don't know what to say. But when you wake up every day and you realize that you are competing against those 18 and 20-year-olds, you want to be on top. You want to win. You always wanted to win. And you're capable of winning. But the problem is, you have to get over the fear. You have to stop being intimidated. You're capable of doing everything that everyone who's 18 and 19 and 25 years old. And you know what? You're able to have context for it. You can put it in a place where, how does this fit into the overall business? How does this fit into how operations work? How does this fit into sales? How does this fit into marketing? How do I build a strategy? What are the tactics associated with it? How do I build a better manufacturing process? That words don't even mean something to someone who's 18 or 20 years old. You have the ability to do it. And if you reach out and you learn these things, you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to have purpose. You're going to figure out what it is that you really want to do in life, whether that's work for a company, work for a corporation, or be an entrepreneur. This is a great time to run your own business. This is a great time to take your passion and put it in a place where you can be successful with it. The tools are there for you to do it. They're just waiting for you to reach out. Maybe you have an interest in something like I do, scuba diving. Maybe you have an interest in, knitting. Maybe you have an interest in foster care. Maybe you have an interest in something. But the tools are there for you to do something incredible. And you don't have 5 years left or 10 years left. You could have 30 or 40 years left of your work career. I just read an article this past weekend in the San Diego Union Tribune that talked about how many professors at UCSD are still active who are over 70 years old. Some of them are 80 and 90 years old, still active every day. Some of them are sort of semi-retired, but they're not retired in this traditional sense, I'm not working. They go in every day and they do work. They're just not actively teaching. They may not have one specific project. Why are they there? Because they have a passion for it. And why are people excited to have them there? Because they have 20, 30, 40, 50 years of knowledge. Something they see that no one else would ever see. You can look at the same object. Two people can look at the same object, the same situation. And guess what? They come to a different way of evaluating it and of coming to a conclusion. You, at age 50 and 60 and 70 years old, have the ability to do it. And I give you this Christmas present for you to go out and take the opportunity over the holidays. Pick up some new tool, or take an existing tool and go deeper. Click a little further on Instagram or Facebook or some other tool that you're using today that you're afraid of. Feel confident, that you can feel as confident as you used to feel with all of the business tools that you used to do. Believe me, you can do it. I know you can do it. I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts on this video. I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts on what else we can do in 2016 to help you achieve whatever your goal is, so that you feel purpose, you feel accomplished, and you're willing to take the next step. Feel free to contact me on Facebook, on Instagram, or through my email at bobedelman@gmail.com. Again, happy holidays and a happy new year if I don't chat with you before.